Hey class, picking up where we left off on the last video, or the second video of the Revit Introduction project, we're looking at our 3D view, and we've just created our roof plan, and we actually want to create the actual roof at this point. So we are going to go to that roof plan, or that roof view I should say, and we don't see anything. That is because the underlay, which was set up in level 2 and level 1, are not set up in this view because this was not part of the template. So we want to see level 2 dimmed out so that we can use that to create our roof plan so that it aligns with level 2. As I noted before, when you do not have anything selected in your view, the properties palette shows the properties of the view itself. What we want to pay attention to is the underlay. Right now, the base level or the range of the underlay is set to none. If we click in that box, select the drop-down list and change that to level 2 and hit apply, we now see level 2 dimmed. So we can use it as a reference to draw the roof. So what I want to do is, again, I'm going to repeat this a lot of times, but the creation method or creation pattern to create a roof. And that is, okay, I want to create a roof, so I already know my category. That category of roof is located on the architecture ribbon, and that is here. And there's a couple ways that you can create a roof. The default is roof by footprint, and that's what we want to select. Again, you can see that my context-sensitive ribbon has changed. My options bar comes up. The next part of my pattern, as always, is roof. Check my type, excuse me. So this is the first building element that we actually are going to change the type from the default. So we are going to click on the type selector, come down here and choose wood rafter 8 inches, asphalt shingle, insulated. The way that Revit works is we can actually define the elements of that type. And this is simply a different type than the default. That's all we're going to get into for now. We'll learn more about that as we move throughout the semester. So again, the next part of the pattern is to go to our properties, our constraints in particular, and make sure that our base level, where the roof starts, is set to our current view, which is roof. We also know that is called the actual level that it's tied to is the top of wall, and that's where we want to place this. So we're good to go with these settings. We come up to our options bar, and we see, actually we're going to skip that. We're going to go right up to our creation tools, our modify and create tools. And we are going to draw the boundary line of the roof. And there's several ways that we could do this. We could draw the outline with a line. We could draw a rectangle. In this case, kind of like the first floor, we are going to, actually we didn't use that for the first floor. Excuse me, we're going to use this button, which is pick walls. And what that does is you simply pick the wall that the roof goes to. And it's the roof edge attaches itself to that wall. So if I move this wall later, the edge of the roof will move with it. Again, you can easily connect lots of things in Revit to each other, so that if I move one thing, a lot of other things move with it. That's sort of the beauty of Revit. Everything's interconnected. When I change this from the line tool to the pick wall tool, you'll notice that my drawing options change. We are going to leave this set at define slope. We want our overhang to be 1 foot. And we also want to extend to wall core. I'm not going to explain what that means, but we'll use this again later in the semester. Then it's a matter of simply selecting the wall. I'm going to select the top wall and the bottom wall. Now, you can see when I selected this wall, I didn't pay too much attention to where it was drawing the line, and it drew it towards the inside of my building. That's not correct. You can see that I have this little flip-flop button if I hit that button, it moves it to the other side. And that overhang that I've defined up here is from the outside edge of that wall. So I have a 1 foot overhang. Now, I've selected both of those walls. Before I go to select these walls, I want to undefine or uncheck the define slope button. Now, when I select these walls, you'll notice that when it creates this line, I don't have this triangle icon or this slope icon. What that means is that this edge and this edge define the slope. So the roof is going to slope from these points, but it's not going to slope here. So what that means is that this end wall is a gable and this end wall is a gable, and my roof is sloping up from these points. The rest of this is fine now. We're going to leave it default. The default slope is 9 and 12. If I wanted to change that, I could select this line that defines slope, and I could change that slope here. But I don't want to. I'm going to leave it as 9 and 12. I'm going to hit my green, finish edit mode, and now this is what I see. Now it looks a little weird here in this view, but again, I always go back to my 3D view and check and make sure that I did in fact do what I thought I did in 3 dimensions. And that is exactly what I want. Now you'll see here that this wall, actually all 4 of these walls, do not actually go up to my roof, because I said, hey, the top of this wall goes to the top of level 2, or sorry, the level 3, what started out as level 3, which is now called roof here, or the top of wall. To fill in this space, we don't simply create another wall, we simply connect these walls to the roof. So to do that, we can do this in multiple ways. Again, I could go to the level 2 and select each wall, or I can come in here in level 3, select one wall, again, right click, select all instances, visible in view, and that selects all my walls. When I do that, I get this, when I select these things, I get, again, a context sensitive ribbon, and it gives me some options here. And you'll see that I have attach top/base. If I click that button, it allows me to attach the top of these walls to this roof. You can see that the only thing that allows me to highlight, well, I shouldn't say that because you can attach it to a floor as well. I can click on this roof now, and it attaches the tops of those walls up to that roof. And that is what I want to happen, because it fills in that space. These these walls, I should say, they're still constrained to that top level, but they are simply graphically filling in that space up there. I shouldn't say graphically, because that is actually a 3D element. It's not just a graphic element. And there we have our roof. Now, if we go back to our roof plan, we see that basically what we're seeing is we're cutting a plan through our roof, but where it's cut is too low, and it's cutting through the roof. And for a roof plan, even though we don't have to print a roof plan for this assignment, I want this to look correct. So what I'm going to do is change, again, those view settings. So right now the view is saying, hey, first of all, you're seeing this underlay that we turned on. Well, now that we have this roof, we no longer need that underlay. So first thing we're going to do is turn that back to none. You can hit apply. Now, I still see these walls because, again, where I'm cutting, and now these come all the way up. But what I want to do is I want to move my cut plane up so that I am above my roof, or I should say above the peak of my roof. So what I'm going to do there is now, again, with nothing selected, my properties are the properties of my view. I come down here to the extents panel, view range. The view range is what dictates where my view is cut. And actually, I like to use the little show button. It gives you a summary of what these boxes mean. And what we need to change is the top of our level. I'm just going to make sure that I go well above my roof ridge. So knowing my dimensions here, I know that 12 feet is going to get me above my roof ridge. That's the top, but I need to adjust the cut plane or else I'm still going to be cutting through the middle of my roof. So I'm going to adjust that to, let's say, 10 feet, which is still going to be above my roof ridge. I'm going to hit OK, and you see now I see a roof plan. I'm cutting my view well above the ridge to my roof. Now, the next thing that I am going to create is the door. So the door goes in the center of this wall on the first floor. So I am going to go to level 1. And again, notice the creation method. That method is, what am I drawing? A door. What ribbon is it on? It is on the architecture ribbon, so I'm already on that one. I come down to the door, I click it. Now I come over here to find my type. And this door is going to be an exterior door. However, I do not have an exterior door to choose from in my type selector. So that means I have to load a family. So far, everything that we've created in this model has been what we call a system family. The floors, the walls, the roof, those are all system families that exist only within the project file. Doors, however, are loadable families. So we can load other options from outside of this file. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to come to the Load Family button. It dumps you into this folder here, US Imperial. We want Doors, Residential, and we're going to choose this Door Exterior Single Entry Half Flat Glass. This icon or this preview gives you a little view of what it looks like. You hit open. That door has multiple types defined within it, and we are simply going to click the 3-foot by 7-foot door, hit OK, and now we have that door. Now notice that my cursor is a little circle and slash saying, hey, you can't put a door here. And you notice down here in my status bar, it says click on wall to place door. Well, a door is a hosted element. It can only exist inside of a wall, basically. So our door lives in this wall, and you can see kind of when I move my cursor around, I get different sort of orientations. You can try to get it right on your first shot, but that's not always necessary. You can also see that by moving my cursor to what is the middle of the wall, my two temporary dimensions say 7'8", and they're equal, and that's where I want this to be. That means it's in the center. I'm going to click. So that places the door into that wall, and when I have that door selected, you'll see that I have these icons, these flip icons. These flip icons will change the orientation of the door. So if you didn't get it right the first time, this is the orientation that we want. And again, I always like to come to my 3D view and check and look and see that my result was as expected. The door is placed at the first floor in the center of this wall.